What's up, guys? Wanted to go over Self-Defense Volume 2 by Jeth Randolph. I had gone over Volume 1, also his Blunt Tactics books. I went over them with James. Jeth is a UK-based self-defense instructor, actually working with James on some projects, some creative projects. And go here. And the second volume, right? It contains articles and conversations, right? As well as new unpublished content, right, from his Substack. And of course, an interview with Mr. LaFont. Now, it's really summed up here in the intro, and it's what I keep getting at. It's what I mentioned with the other video too. Right, this is a DIY project, right? You know, DIY. Okay, the creativity thing is a big thing. Okay, it's more than just, you know, there's an art. There's art. It's a martial art. Right? This is to make a protect, right? We want physical media to protect from social media deplatforming and censorship. He's in the UK. You see what they're doing over there, and they're doing it here too. Right? Right, and this is April. This is a couple of years ago, but it seems like yesterday. As a self-defense instructor in the UK, of course, you have to tread very carefully. And I'll start off right off the bat. He sets it up with this chapter here. The 3 words, right? What is this? His 3 words: longevity, autonomy, honor. Right? The things that you want to balance. Okay, of course, longevity. Okay, not right. Train like you're old, even when you're not. Very, very useful training, and not just because I'm old. Okay, but just in general. Okay, the idea of survival fighting. Okay, you're not. The battle, okay, the tactical, right? You're thinking of the battle, the physical things you need to do. Okay, of course, you want to think of the strategic, okay, the big picture, okay, the consequences that are going to come down on you if something comes off. Okay, you don't want something to pop off. Okay, you want to go in terms of autonomy. You want to go home at the end of the day. Really, it kind of sums up what this is all about. But at what expense? Not at all cost, not at all, you know, any cost, any reason. You want to maintain your honor. Okay, so you have true threats to your autonomy. Some things seem like threats. You need to channel them out. Makes up a good idea of, like, you know, some guy talking shit to you or whatever. And this is the thing with his kids. Some guy was like swearing and threatening the guy in front of his kids, which is you know, threatening you in front of people, in front of loved ones, is a tricky situation. He always brings it back. Okay, in terms of my duty is to protect my kids and get them away from this guy. Okay, I had no respect for the guy's behavior. He was dishonoring himself. Okay, the honor, what I care about, what a value system defined by others, because he said something to me and I just walked it off or brushed it off. Okay, that's really powerful, especially for a man. Okay, all the shit we put up with every day, and then some asshole's gonna come out of nowhere and say something to you, and call you this and that, and yeah, you know. The reality, though, is you are dishonoring yourself by allowing a fool to control you. Ooh, man. He put that pretty bluntly, and it's pretty accurate at the end of the day. It's very useful too how he put it. So, like I said, you want to balance your longevity. Oh God, English. Do you speak it? Longevity, your autonomy, and your honor, and you can do that, but it takes constant vigilance, and also it takes creativity. And you're gonna see later it gets creative. Of course, the knife crime. Right? The whole thing in England is the knife crime. Well, yeah, it's increasing big time. And what, this is not in England. This is not far from where I'm at. I actually know a guy that lived 2 blocks down the street from here and around the corner. Remember this? This was like a video game, horror game. It was crazy. Dude just ran out. You know. Of course, that was a police camera. But the idea of the blades. Okay, don't get it twisted too. You know, in America, there's a lot of guns, but a lot of people are getting jigged up. Okay, a lot of people are getting stabbed. So a lot of people are still, most people are still, violence is still mostly people getting stomped, punched, hit with stuff. So, but in the framing of that knife crime in the UK, weapon carry is illegal. You can't have nothing. Now, there's places in America where the laws are as strict as in parts of the city parts of the UK. Usually, Democrat run cities. Whether you laugh at right. And it's always the interesting thing that you cannot carry anything. That's why the blunt tactics book was really useful, because you can carry, let's say, I don't know, flashlights, right? Hand flashlights. There's things you can carry, but nothing that is intended to be used as a weapon to defend yourself. Because who the hell are you to defend yourself? You're a friggin' slave. Right? It's always funny too how the most left-wing people who talk about equality, they hate weapons, right? Because weapons, what do? They equalize people. So I remember arguing with some New York guy years ago in Manhattan. He was a security guard, but he was like a hippie, whatever. And he was like, "Oh, if everyone had weapons, it would be the Wild West," And I laughed at this guy because this guy grew up in what was the Wild West. He told me the stories of where he grew up, but I don't know. I guess he thought that it would be the Wild West if you were actually able to defend yourself. I don't know. Whatever. That's how you get. It's weird. Sometimes you can never tell what people, what they'll come up with. So now going through, I want to go through some of the book, some of the things that I thought really stood out to me, and all of it does. Like it mentions defanging the snake. What is that? Right, striking the weapon hand of somebody. Right, why do swords have hilts and bell guards on them? Right, your hand is vulnerable, and even a trained person, at some point, their hand they'll become stationary for a moment. You can hit it, and those aren't the people that you'll be dealing with. Okay, the target's closer to you, and also it's less than lethal. You're hitting somebody's hand, So, but you never know. So, because remember, your real enemy, the second enemy, as Jeff Thompson used to call it, but your real enemy is the system. Right? Oh, you're so edgy, dude. Thank you. We'll go. This is interesting, of course, when they talk about the idea of like somebody died when somebody tackled them and was holding them for the police. Okay, I've done this. Okay, but the guy died of a heart attack. Right, and the guy was there for 9 minutes. Okay, when seconds count, when minutes count, you push that back in the UK or here. Oh, the guy who died, right? They were trying to get this guy in trouble, right? He had a heart condition. Also, he was filled with drugs. That sounds familiar, doesn't it? Doesn't it sound familiar with many other stories? Okay. It's always amazing how, in terms of like when you think of Mr. Penny, okay, Daniel Penny, okay, choking the guy, in terms of, it's hard to pin someone down when they don't want to be pinned, okay? I'm talking about regular people too, not just, when you're wrestling or grappling. It's difficult. Usually it's better to ride somebody, okay? But that's a skill that you don't really see much, and which is not taught too much in grappling. It's more in high school wrestling, but we're not high school wrestlers. We're damn old men. We'll go. There's one really thing he said here that was pretty simple. This should be this thing should be tattooed on your head, right? Or maybe on your forearm. This should be the beginning and middle of an end of everything. When you walk out the door in your day in this dying Anglosphere, any contact with the court system is to be avoided at all costs. Yeah, I think that's a really good foundational thing if you want to build up or even revise your self-defense, your survival fighting doctrine, I guess. What is your doctrine, right? It is political, isn't it? In a lot of ways, everything is political. Sure is. And I like to also hear how he goes, we are average people, right? They mentioned Jeff Thompson, okay? Preemptive striking. Doing this one hand, right? Jeff Thompson, right? The idea of the preemptive strike. But remember, Jeff was a bouncer. He was a doorman. And he wasn't a bouncer at a pub for the most part. He was a bouncer at a nightclub. So he had a lot. It was a bigger place. He had a lot of lads to back him up. But you don't have nothing. What do you got? Okay? So you have a different one. You need a different preemptive strike, a psychological one. And you can get very creative with this. Creating confusion to stall aggression is not always possible, but it should be the key tactic for the average person, right? You're thinking of the strategy, not just tactics, right? Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of ways you can get creative with this, okay? But it requires that you are in control, right? You're not being controlled by some fool, okay? Because that would be dishonorable. You see how he ties it together. Uh, anyway, we're gonna round it out a few other things that I thought was interesting in the book. I liked it. Targeting the aggressor's fingers, like finger joints. Now you're thinking, oh, this is old jiu-jitsu or police Kubotan manual stuff that doesn't work on people, right? He's not talking about restraining people with wrist locks and finger locks. He's talking about breaking somebody's fingers, okay? These are, of course, what are they called in grappling or even in wrestling, which are fouls, small joint manipulation. Okay? You're cranking the fingers, the digits. Okay, the Chinese call it chinna. So, what is a deadly technique, in quotation marks, in Chinese martial arts, is a foul in like collegiate wrestling or in jiu-jitsu. Okay, I always forget that. I know wrist locks are technically legal in MMA, but you're not doing a lock. Okay, nobody's tapping. You're breaking somebody's fingers. Okay. And I like the training, right? I like how it's kind of cool. It's similar to I remember the Chinese, the Chinna training. They would get like a branch, and like kind of like make nature's like a hand gripper and use it as an exercise, right? Right, it's a well-known Chinese method of training. Grab a branch and snap in the same direction. So, and he's talking about developing functional strength in your hands. You pick up sticks, thin sticks, get thicker ones, and break them, right? Twist them, break them, snap them. I use it and find very good applicable strength doing this. That's actually I never even thought of that. That's a smashing idea. Right? Really interesting. Of course, there's an interview with somebody we know, and here somewhere. There he is. Who's this guy? James. I like this. He does an interview with James. I think this is hilarious. Hold on. You know how James is. He's funny, and he always, if there's an answer that you don't expect, or if there is an opinion on something that is the most reprehensible that no one would hate, that everyone around would hate, James will come up with this. Right? This is more remarkable light fact that James is homeless. What? I've been letting a homeless dude in my place. What the fuck? And of course, he talks to James. I like the idea. Grip strength in men maintains in old age. Okay, so of course he does what you can't do in the UK. Right? So he doesn't make a secret of it. I carry a blade with me. Right? I don't succumb to babyhood fears of total domination. Permit honorable interaction with an evil world. Honor is necessary to maintain internally in order to maintain mental and emotional balance and take anger out of our calculations. Yeah, dude's like a guru, man. My honor is clutch to maintaining fighting resolve in bad situations, maintaining your autonomy. Right? Of course I have no concern for longevity, dude. This dude, at least like I said, live long enough to get Social Security, dude. So, yeah, it's kind of funny too. He makes another point. Always comes up with something interesting here, right? Most people who train to fight are reacting to bad circumstances, not an innate desire to train. And James counts himself as one of them. Most of us are like that, okay? Unless you're some jock whose dad was an alpha male and you are the same. Yeah, most of us were not like that. So we're regular people. So, what's the best training advice you ever see? Right? Relax your shoulders. Right? Lower them. Don't flex. Why you flexing? Relax. I agree. So this is just a great book. I know I went a little long, but spearing the eye, finger jabbing the eye. And one last thing, and you can say a little chill up your spine, but if you're following the principles here, the same things still apply. Okay, people get in touch with him. Hey, I want you to train my little group here. Not your guy. Sorry, a month later, another inquiry. People are emailing him. Can you train our friends? We're interested in common law and defending people, right? We're being threatened with non-compliance with the vid restrictions they had over there. Again, I refused. Okay. Yeah. What do you think of what I'm thinking, right? Yeah, feds. I don't know what they call them in England, but I think the term feds, at this point, the feds uh, cover up more than just the people that rule this friggin' place. Anyway, I went on and off, but I had to because there was a lot of good stuff in here. Buy this book, man. Jeth, man, thanks a lot, brother. Later.